Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Empire State of the South. Tonight, the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series on iRacing.com is marching into Georgia to do battle at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Bobby Blazer was the man to beat last week in the desert heat of Phoenix, and now the rest of the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series drivers are ready to continue chasing down our points leader, James Ray, who sits atop the Xfinity Series standings. Atlanta Motor Speedway has been the site of some historic battles, and of course the state of Georgia has seen some historic battles through American history, and tonight's battle will surely prove to be just as fierce. We'll find out together who will be the Pied Piper of the Peach State. I'm Dave Regal, and we'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, on the Independence Racing Network, sponsored by Northeastern Fire and Air. Ladies and gentlemen, gather your friends, grab some popcorn, and settle in. And folks, we want to welcome you warmly here to our broadcast booth. Like I said just a moment ago, I'm Dave Regal, and we'll be with you through this race tonight here at Atlanta Motor Speedway as qualifying is underway, and quite frankly, the usual suspects are definitely at the front of this piece so far, as Jared Small and Brad Gunn sit atop the leaderboard, now passed by Tim Trowbridge, who has just laid down himself a 32.15 qualifying effort. We'll take a look here at Tim, who is quite the experienced driver and a Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series regular here on the SNN family of racing. While we did just mention it while we were opening the show here, do want to talk about the season standings here on Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series with about 2 minutes 43 seconds left in the qualifying effort here. James Ray is sitting atop the leaderboard now with he's got 2 wins out of 3 races. James Ray sitting atop the leaderboard of standings, followed by Bobby Blazer, who just jumped 3 positions with his win last week at Phoenix, followed by Dylan Ackert, Mike Wright, and Alex Prince in your top 5. Then moving a little bit deeper into those standings is John Bewalder, who actually had dropped a position last week, followed by Josh Ward in 7th, Tony Burt in 8th, Chris W. Watkins in 9th, and Bradley Gunn in 10th. And as mentioned earlier, Bradley Gunn out getting ready to lay his qualifying laps here as he's on the leaderboard, and we're just waiting for the field to fill in. As we take a look at Devin Medeiros, driver of the number 20 Fox Toyota Supra here, and Devin, one heck of a strong racer, absolutely dedicated to his craft, as we are in a warm-up phase now, and we will get that field set for you in just a moment. So we want to welcome you in to the broadcast booth here in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. I'm Dave Regal, and this is the Independence Racing Network.
With the Buttkicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Buttkicker, the future is feeling.
And folks, we want to welcome you back to the Peach State here in Atlanta, Georgia, as practice has now wrapped up and we are going to get ready to grid for the Nally Cars 250 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. And as everybody is gridding up here, we'll take a look at your pole sitter, Mike Wright. Mike Wright in the number 38 Ford. Let's get this grid laid out for you here. As Mike Wright is going to sit atop the leaderboard in the number 38 Ford, followed by Jarrett Small in the number 17 Chevrolet. Tim Trowbridge, as I mentioned earlier, an Xfinity Series regular here on Monday Night NASCAR, in the number 74, followed by Alex Princeton in the number 19 Toyota Supra. Bobby Blazer, your winner from last week, in the number 90 Blue Oval Ford, followed by Dakota Cave on the outside of row number 3. Lewis Fetterman in 7th. That's a new name toward the top of the leaderboard here in the number 94 Chevrolet. Followed by Zach Osborne in his Toyota in 8th. Jeff Carson in 9th. And Dan Heichel in 10th. Bob Nestor, your Xfinity Series commissioner, in the number 29 Relative Properties Toyota Supra, is followed by Bradley Hall on his outside in 11th. Carlos Ramos in 13th. Jeff Cronin in 14th. Chris Claude, your Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series commissioner, in the number 10 Dasani Toyota Supra, followed by Aaron Mack, Ken Ron, John Bewalder, Bryson Alexander in his number 98 Wawa machine, followed by Tony Burt in the number 72 Chevrolet, Mark Brewster, and several drivers that will be starting from the pits, it appears, as Ian Humphreys, Josh Ward, Barrett Coffey, your Tuesday Night Thunder Trucks commissioner, Zach Vaughn, Chris Gore, Devin Medeiros in that number 20 Fox Toyota, and that should round out the 29 drivers that will be here to tame this track. Things are definitely starting to heat up now in the Xfinity Series. And speaking of heat, right before we go green here, we'll talk about that weather once we get underway, as things are definitely beginning to heat up here. As you can reach way up there, pull those belts tight. We are green flag racing at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series here on the Independence Racing Network. Mike Wright trying to get himself set up here in that number 38 Ford on the inside of Tim Trowbridge, working their way through turns 3 and 4 here on the opening lap, as Trowbridge working that high side, able to get the run back down to the front stretch, as he is closely followed by Jarrett Small. And these drivers not going to be giving up anything very easily tonight, as we have 163 thundering laps through the Georgia countryside here in suburban Atlanta. We do have stage racing tonight, as stage 1 will end after lap 40. Once that 10th place car passes the start-finish line on lap 41, the field will freeze and we will go to a competition caution to get reset. Stage 2 is going to end after lap 80, so same deal on as they cross for lap number 81. That 10th place car will freeze the field and we'll have another competition caution. And then after that, they will go 83 laps to the end here in this piece tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Just so everybody's aware, this is an open setup league, and these drivers have worked all week long since last week at Phoenix on these setups, and we'll get into the setup discussion later, and we'll explain a little bit more about what that is, as it looks like the 23 of Bradley Hall rubs the wall coming out of turn 2. And we see here back a little bit deeper in the field as things are starting to tighten up here along Jeff Carson in the 03 Napa Auto Parts Toyota, as he is being chased down by Zach Osborne in his number 52 Toyota Supra. As these three drivers are going to be racing together, it looks like Tony Burt was thinking about following Zach Osborne, but chooses to stay behind Jeff instead. But now he peeks to the outside as he can work that high line pretty safely. As we've mentioned so many times here, this is the old Atlanta Motor Speedway surface. It was actually recently rescanned and after it was repaved in real life. And things have definitely changed now. But right now, this is more like a cheese grater, as Larry Mack would say over in the Fox Sports booth here in Atlanta, where this track has been aged, and it has not exactly aged like fine wine, as it's got to be sharp out there on these tires, chewing them up, as we have now put 6 laps in the books. Taking a look up here at Tim Trowbridge, who has opened himself a very healthy lead over Mike Wright, who has now also opened himself quite a healthy lead, just about the same distance between himself and Jarrett Small. And we look back here to Alex Princeton, and we look at Princeton, if we can find him. He must be having some kind of a connection issue, and we will come back to him once he gets that stabilized. We're looking at the number 23 chasing down Dan Heichel in the 7 Viagra car, and Dan is always trying to keep it up in this race, as we see him every week trying to stay, hard into the corners and make sure that he's got everything under control in this car. And we're taking a look now at this piece from pretty far away, just trying to get a good feel for the field itself. And cars pretty much overall, it looks like they've gone single file, but this knot right here of cars has gotten themselves all kinds of tied up, as the 97 driven by Carlos Ramos gets around the 94 of Lewis Fetterman in that Jurassic Park machine. And I'll tell you what, these cars are going to be wound up, and it's pretty early in the race. An interesting factoid here is that although they have 100% fuel capacity, which would be that full 20 gallons that NASCAR allows, there are only 4 sets of tires total. So that's 3 changes and 1 set that's currently on the car at the drop of the green flag. So there is going to be quite a bit of tire saving and strategy. You're not going to see these guys pushing it real early, as they've got to make sure that they can get all 4 sets through this race, which puts our pit window somewhere in and around 40 laps for tires if you want to break that up evenly. But I would be willing to bet more than anything that you're going to see these guys try to stretch that out probably to about 60 laps as far as the fuel run will take you. As we have a quick look here at Carlos Ramos in this white Chevrolet, and he's got himself in a nice comfortable position here with about 3/10 in front of him and 3/10 of a second behind him, as he's just going to hang on following Dakota Cave in the number 30 Toyota. And Dakota working that high side, not really trying to make any passes, but we see here that Jeff Cronin in that number 18 Toyota Supra, sponsored by NAS, is working the inside of the 23 of Bradley Hall. And now he's putting Bobby Blazer, your winner from last week at Phoenix, in his crosshairs. Folks, this is some pretty good racing here early on in this piece, as we are here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. If you're watching us on YouTube, feel free to check in there. Subscribe to the Independence Racing Network, turn on those bell notifications, and give us a shout in the live chat, as I don't see a whole lot of folks getting chatty here with us. We do want to invite you in. Let us know who you're pulling for, who you're cheering for, and we will get them some screen time if we can, as we're still watching Jeff Cronin here now working the inside of Bobby Blazer as Bobby's riding that top line. It sure seems like he's going to hold his ground as Bobby drops down against the white line. here on the inside, coming out of turn 4 and then drifting gracefully up to that high wall. And we can see there is all kinds of action going on tonight as we're going to check in with Chris Claude, your Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series commissioners. He's working the top line over the number 98, driven by Bryson Alexander. He makes the pass and secures that nice and easy as Chris Claude running in 17th right now. And of course we see in this replay that it looks like he's putting Tony Burt in his sights and working the inside of Tony Burt here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. As we are 15 laps through, we take a look at your Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series commissioner, Bob Nestor, driving that Relative Properties Toyota Supra. And he's got that number 29 all kinds of wound up tonight. And I expect big things as Bob ran a pretty good portion of the race last night up toward the front in the Cup Series race, which of course is broadcast over with our friends at ESPN and Sim Racing Media. And Bob had a pretty good position there from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. And unfortunately a little bit of a pit mistake, and that kind of ended the way he was chasing down that lead. But tonight's a different night. Tonight's a different race. And we take a look once again at Dan Heichel running in 4th position right now in the number 7 Viagra Ford, as he is being chased down by Jarrett Small. Jarrett, a strong race car driver, in the number 17, running in 5th position. He's actually dropped 3 positions since the beginning, but I'd be willing to bet dollars to donuts, as Mr. Evans would say, that this man here is just trying to save some tires here. So keep an eye on Garrett Small, as I'm sure we're going to see him saving some tires. And I do see that the one car driven by Josh Ward coming off of pit road, not really sure why he was down in the pits, but we'll have to take a look here. We'll see him come down pit lane a few laps ago, and we'll see if he was just making an adjustment early on in the races. You know, at this stage in the race, especially knowing that you have that competition caution coming up after lap 40 with a reasonable chance to get your lap back, is he going to come in and make some adjustments? And we'll just take a look here and see him come in. And it doesn't look like he's getting tires. Oh, there he goes. He's getting himself a couple of tires. Maybe he had a bad set. He took right sides. Let's see if he takes left. And he does. So he does take a 4-tire stop. And that's awful dangerous this early in the race, but I trust a driver that's as skilled as Josh Ward is to have absolutely no problem at all keeping it under him. As we are back here at lap number 19 of 163, we are going to take a quick moment here and step aside to give a heads up and a tip of the cap to our sponsors, Northeastern Fire and Air and Buttkicker. In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have, breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today, and know that you can breathe easy with Northeastern Fire and Air.
With the Buttkicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Buttkicker, the future is feeling.
And we welcome you back to Atlanta Motor Speedway, where we are on lap number 22 of 163 here. A long haul for 250 miles tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is old Atlanta. This has not been updated yet by iRacing, so we are still on the old surface as we're taking a look here at Alex Princeton getting ready to chase down Mike Wright on the front row here, as Zach Osborne here in the number 52 being chased down by the number 91 of Zach Vaughn, who's a lap down, who started from the pits, I believe. And Zach having next to no problem getting around that driver here as we look up to Mike Wright in the 38, chasing down Tim Trowbridge as they are matching each other step for step here, as Alex Princeton in the number 19 again is closing in on him ever so gently. And as they're going to cross the start-finish line, just keep an eye on Alex Princeton. I realize that every now and then he's going to disappear out of your screen, but it's definitely worthwhile watching as he's chasing down Mike Wright, who is now sniffing the tailpipe of Tim Trowbridge. Perhaps Tim has overcooked those tires, or he's saving them and willing to give up that lead a little bit here on the early laps of this race. One of the things that we like to highlight here on Monday Night NASCAR is the fact that we do have 3 levels of racing in the Sunday Night NASCAR family of racing series. And I have to tell you, this truly is like a family. These guys are out here, 1, 2, and sometimes 3 nights a week as they race in Cup on a Sunday night, which is broadcast over with our friends at ESPN every Sunday night at 8:30. And then tonight, of course, on a Monday night, we have Xfinity Series racing, followed by Tuesday night Thunder Trucks, which starts about 9:30. And one of the things that I've always been interested to see here is watching these guys develop every week. Sometimes when these folks come into the league, like myself, a year ago, you come in as a stranger and you start staying as family. As we're looking right now at Bobby Blazer, who is in his first season here with the Monday Night Xfinity Series crew. And he's got this car wound up into 7th position right now. Currently down 2 spots from where he started, but it looks like he's starting to make the move to start going forward a little bit more, as he is going to pass the number 89 car of Chris Gore Sr., your current lucky dog or free pass driver, should a caution come out. Of course, goodness gracious, I hope I didn't just put that broadcaster's curse on it. And if I did, you can send your hate mail to the Independence Racing Network in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania, care of Dave Regal, here at the microphone, running the 1s and 2s and everything in between with you. From the green flag to the checkered flag tonight, we are sponsored by Northeastern Fire and Air, Buttkicker, and RS Button Boxes. And we will get into that also later this evening, as RS Button Boxes and Buttkicker have both really stepped up as far as getting these drivers some prizes for the season standings that we were talking about earlier. And of course, to Northeastern Fire and Air, whom without this broadcast would not be near as easy to produce. So we are thankful for all of our sponsors. And of course, to Bob Nestor, driver of the number 29 Toyota Supra, who has organized all of this in such fine fashion. There's a lot of class here in these races that he's run now every week since Daytona. And these drivers are thankful to have leadership around them. And as far as leadership, Chris Claude, who of course is the father of this league overall, between Cup, Xfinity, and Trucks, has assembled himself one heck of a group of leaders who help these drivers every week improve on their craft and get better. And it's nice to see that everybody can come out here and work together and make each other more skilled as far as their racecraft. Of course, we've talked about Bob Nestor a couple of times now, and we also want to give a tip of the cap to Barrett Coffey. Barrett Coffey currently running in 15th position in the number 4 Ford Mustang, And Barrett, of course, also, as we just mentioned, is the commissioner of that Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series. And without these three guys, these leagues, these races, these series wouldn't be happening. So we're glad to see them out here, as Barrett, up 5 positions from where he started, currently running in 15th place, is chasing down this lead pack. And Barrett is really good at saving his tires and keeping himself clean through the race. So we're going to see him working his way forward as we take a peek forward to Bobby Blazer in the number 90, getting around the number 32, driven by Ian Humphreys, now your current lucky dog or free pass driver, as it would be here on lap number 33. So we are in the closing stages of closing laps of stage 1, and things seem to be shaping up fairly well competitively here, as Mike Wright has made the pass and gotten around Tim Trowbridge here at the front, as Mike Wright has now opened himself up about a 1.5 second lead over Tim Trowbridge here in the number 74 car. So your new race leader is Mike Wright, followed by Tim Trowbridge in second. Dan Heichel in that number 7 Viagra, keeping it up there for everybody, running in third position, followed by Alex Princeton, who, as we've mentioned several times now, is having some connection issues. Bobby Blazer, your winner from last week, running in 5th. Bob Nestor in 6th, driving the number 29 Relative Properties Toyota Supra. Carlos Ramos in that number 91 Chevrolet, followed by Dakota Cave, Jarrett Small, and Aaron Mack, your top 10. And these drivers just getting themselves heated up. I think we're going to see these guys taking it a little easy here on the opening stage, and maybe even a good portion of stage 2. As I've mentioned, we do only have 4 sets of tires, including the ones that they started on. So it's 1 set plus 3 changes, and my oh my, that is tight. As last night, running about the same number of laps, if I remember correctly, 163 in Cup Series, there were actually 6 sets of tires plus the one in the car. So you were able to keep those tires nice and fresh here as we look on the number 98, driven by Bryson Alexander, sponsored by Wawa. Gotta have a Wawa, gotta have Bryson Alexander out on track as he is now logging laps. And folks, if you are just tuning in, check us out on YouTube. Feel free to subscribe to the Independence Racing Network. Turn on those bell notifications and let us know that you're here in the live chat. Let us know who you're pulling for and who you'd like to see win this race tonight, as we can get ourselves a pretty good dialogue. Also, if you like hanging out with me here on a Monday night, on Tuesday nights at 10:15, alongside my partner in crime over at ESPN, Tony Trapasso, we are in the Western States Racing League broadcast booth on a Tuesday night and Wednesday night. If you liked hanging out with us on a Tuesday, Tony Trapasso and I in the ESPN broadcast booth will also be calling the Way She Goes Racing League, which is a brand new league here on iRacing. And we are thrilled to be able to bring that to you every week. So I get to spend a couple of days off the track and in the broadcast booth, and I got to tell you, I couldn't be happier, especially when I'm watching close side-by-side racing as we've had here tonight in the early goings. And we should see pit road closing momentarily as we are in the closing couple of laps here of stage number 1 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Of course, one of the other things that you're going to see here, especially in this top 10, is as we close the stage, those top 10 drivers at the end of the stage will be eligible for bonus points here, as the number 90 is going to get around. Whoa, and they're 3 wide as the 90 tries to get around Alex Princeton. And he takes it 3 wide. And I'll tell you what, that's awful dangerous when you're worried about someone's connection issues, because you don't know when they're going to reappear or where they are when they reappear. Anyway, there are bonus points awarded from 10th through 1st place, with 1 point being awarded to 10th place, and so on until you get to Mike Wright here at the top of the leaderboard, as we have a car down on the apron here Now Bobby Blazer working the inside of Tim Trowbridge as Tim is now stuck in the middle of this 3-wide piece here at the end of stage number 1, and we should see that caution come out any second now. Once 10th place crosses the start-finish line, 10th place, of course, currently held by Jarrett Small as he comes through the tri-oval. And that will conclude stage number 1 here. Your stage 1 winner, who captured that green and white checkered flag, is Mike Wright, who managed to pass Tim Trowbridge. And Mike Wright from Greensboro, North Carolina, gets that green and white checkered flag, wins the stage, and 10 bonus points, followed by Dan Heichel in the number 7 Viagra Ford. Bobby Blazer out of York, and I'm assuming York, Pennsylvania. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure York. Driving the number 90 Ford, followed by Tim Trowbridge in the number 74 Ford. Alex Princeton in 5th out of Lake Elmo, Minnesota. Carlos Ramos in the number 97 Chevrolet from Columbia, South Carolina, state capital fellow there. Bob Nestor, your Xfinity Series commissioner, in the number 29 Toyota Supra from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. Dakota Cave in 8th, Aaron Mack in 9th out of Fort Riley, Kansas. And Jarrett Small, driving the number 17 from Fisherville, rounds out your top 10. And that should allow us just enough time to look at the conditions here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, as we had a pretty quick start here to this race. And we see, of course, that the outdoor air temperature is 82 degrees, but that track temperature is what we're really paying attention to at 106 degrees. And that should make for some really interesting runs here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway, as that'll change the grip in the track as these cars are going to be coming off and on pit road, as it looks like just about everybody comes down. I think the only person who hasn't come in yet would be John Bewalder III, who's currently running in 20th position. As we're going to see everybody get themselves tightened back up here at Atlanta on lap number 43.
With the Buttkicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Buttkicker, the future is feeling.
Folks, welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway, where we are under caution right now. Nothing serious, just a regular end-of-stage caution, as we're going to peek in here at Mike Wright, your race leader right now, as those pace car lights are off and everybody's getting themselves back under control here, as we're going to stack up and get ready to restart for the beginning of stage number 2. And As I mentioned earlier, Stage 2 is going to end at lap number 80, so we will have just under 40 laps to get to that point, as Mike Wright is going to be up front after the pit cycle here. We have Mike Wright in P1 with Dan Heichel on his outside, Tim Trowbridge in third, Bobby Blazer in fourth, Alex Princeton in fifth, Carlos Ramos in sixth, Dakota Cave in seventh, Bob Nestor in eighth, Jeff Carson in ninth, and Jeff Cronin in the number 18 Toyota Supra, rounding things out. And I see that man in the stand with the green flag in his hand, and we are getting ready to go back racing here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, as the Nally Cars 250 is going to be back underway with Mike Wright on the outside. The green flag waves, and we are back underway at Atlanta Motor Speedway here on the Independence Racing Network, brought to you by RS Button Boxes, Buttkicker, and Northeastern Fire and Air. And we see Mike Wright taking that lead down into the corner of turns 1 and 2 and making that exit onto the backstretch. But Tim Trowbridge not willing to give up easy. He wants the lead back for himself, as Mike Wright had wrestled it away from him about midway through that first stage, as Trowbridge is looking to the inside, can't get around, and he is now going to go back into a single file formation here going into turn 1, as it's probably safer, especially so soon in the race, to just hang on and see how things unfold here. One of the things that just about every race car driver needs to remember is patience. And we see Jeff Carson here in the 03 Napa Auto Parts Toyota making his way around the number 30, driven by Dakota Cave, as he's going to look to Dakota's inside. But right in front of him was Tony Burt, and when I talk about patience, there are several drivers, including Tony, who have the patience of a Buddhist monk. Tony will hang around as best he can, as long as nothing crazy happens in front of him, which of course is known to happen in all levels of racing, regardless of skill or whether it's real life or here on virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. But Tony can hang in there with the best of them, along with Chris Claude, who of course I see Chris Claude is a couple of laps down here. Not really sure how he wound up in that position, but Chris Claude is definitely Mr. Consistency. Even if he gets a lap or 2 or 3 down early in a race, Chris is always more than willing to hang in there and get through the race. And there are a lot of times where I see drivers like Chris Claude or Tony Burt who wind up in a little bit of a scuffle earlier on in a race and are still somehow there in the top 15, top 10 toward the end, because they just have that perseverance, that patience to wait it out and see how things develop, as Tony now working the inside of Carlos Ramos in the number 97 Chevrolet, as Carlos is chasing down Bobby Blazer. And as we've mentioned several times, Bobby, just having won at Phoenix last week, is going to be hungry for more. And if you are just tuning in this evening, we are the Independence Racing Network. I am Dave Regal here at the microphone and operating all the ones and twos of this production. If you're watching us on YouTube, feel free to hit subscribe, turn on those bell notifications, and give us a shout. Let us know who you're pulling for, who you're watching, and what brings you here tonight, and preferably where you're from also. We'd always like to hear where you're from, as we are broadcasting live from Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. We're watching Tony Burt, who, as we just mentioned a few moments ago, has the patience of a Buddhist monk, as he is now working the inside of Carlos Ramos and checking back with Jarrett Small, working the outside behind Barrett Coffey, but just ahead of Devin Medeiros. Devin, a strong racer in himself, chasing down Barrett Coffey, who of course will not be put to bed early, as Barrett Coffey also one of those drivers who can hang around no matter what the situation is, as he is now looking to the inside of the number 91, driven by Zach Vaughn, who is of course not on the lead lap. Looks like Zach is about 4 laps down right now. And Barrett in a lot of traffic here. He's just about 3 wide which, of course, in these situations, sometimes you have to get yourself positioned to just where your car is going to handle best. And a lot of times that can get hairy through there, as Devin Medeiros now nearly taking a 3 wide with that nose bouncing around into turns 1 and 2 and out of 3 and 4 now, chasing down what looks to be Jeff Cronin, as we see the number 31 working the inside now. That is Aaron Mack in the number 31. And we'll take a closer look here as he's working the inside of the 30 car, driven by Dakota Cave, who now he wrestles that spot away and gets himself alongside of Jarrett Small in the number 17 car. And, of course, while he's here, it's a 2-for-1 sale, as he's now going to try to pick off Jeff Carson in the 03 Napa Auto Parts Toyota Supra. And Jeff says, not so fast, my friend. We are going to go together around the number 97 potentially here, as they will fall in single file here in line. And keep an eye on Barrett Coffey, who has now moved himself into 6th position, with Tony Burt working his inside. Tony not afraid to keep in contact with somebody, splitting Medeiros and Barrett Coffey, as that 72 machine holding strong and staying up here with the big guns. As we are on lap number 56 of 163, currently we are marching to lap number 80 to complete this second stage here on Monday Night NASCAR. And we have had a fantastic race for you folks this evening, as I've barely had a chance to take a breath, which is exciting. And Mike Wright, your race leader, about a quarter of a second over Tim Trowbridge, as Trowbridge is slowly but surely marching closer to that rear bumper of Mike Wright. And, of course, the two of them are followed by Dan Heichel in the number 7 Ford, with Alex Princeton in the number 19 following the two of them. He was having some connection issues earlier, but he appears to be pretty stabilized now, as we can take a look. And I spoke too soon, as we take a look at the number 19 Onyx Toyota, and he moves himself into 3rd position ahead of Tim Trowbridge, followed by Bob Nestor, as Nestor is going to get around Trowbridge. It seems like maybe something's mechanically wrong with Trowbridge. Maybe he didn't come in and get everything they needed to do, but he definitely came in on that last cycle. So it may be something mechanical. It may be Tim trying to save things here, as we're going to take a ride alongside with Tim Trowbridge, as we see Tim working that wheel not very hard here through the tri-oval. And it doesn't look like he's too loose going into 1 and 2, which is usually the place where you start to see guys take it loose. But as we ride along with Tim, we see here to the inside of his car Bob Nestor, and they are side by side duking it out here, as Nestor is going to get the pass for now. And that's for now, we say, because Trowbridge not going to be put to bed early tonight. And folks, if you enjoy this, we are going to step aside here and let you folks turn it up and enjoy the sounds of Atlanta Motor Speedway and Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series Racing live on the Independence Racing Network, brought to you by Northeastern Fire and Air. Folks, if you're just joining us, this is Atlanta Motor Speedway, and you are watching Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series racing action here on the Independence Racing Network. We are brought to you by Northeastern Fire and Air, Buttkicker, and RS Button Boxes. We are glad to have you in tonight here with us. And if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to subscribe, turn on those bell notifications, and get notified every time we go live every Monday night for Xfinity Series racing. And if you like hanging out with me tonight, then you'll really like hanging out with me and my partner in crime tomorrow night over on ESPN, Tony Trapasso, as we call the Western States Racing League at 10:15 p.m. Then on Wednesday night, Tony and I bring you all of the action from Atlanta Motor Speedway again in the Way She Goes Racing League, which features NASCAR's next-gen Cup cars here on iRacing.com, and we are proud to bring it to you together as we've been working together for quite a while now and enjoying every minute of it. Your race leader right now is Mike Wright in the number 38 Ford, followed by Dan Heichel in his number 7 Viagra Ford, with Alex Princeton in the number 19 Onyx Toyota Supra, followed by Bob Nestor in 4th, Barrett Coffey in 5th, who is now chasing Nestor down, and we'll stay right here for just a hot second, as it seems like Coffey and Nestor are going to be exchanging blows left and right here through the tri-oval, as Nestor has now backed off just a hair from Coffey, but it seems like he can catch him pretty well, as these two series commissioners, Barrett, of course, of the Tuesday Night Thunder Trucks, and Bob Nestor, our commissioner here on Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, duking it out here atop the pile in 3rd and 4th, trailing only Dan Heichel and Mike Wright, your race leader. Speaking of commissioners, we do want to check in with Chris Claude, who's currently 3 laps down, but he is the commissioner of Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series Racing, which is broadcast at 9 p.m. over on, or I'm sorry, 8:30 p.m. over on ESPN, our good friends over there. And Chris has assembled himself quite a crew of leaders here in this series of racing, and everybody really does a heck of a job getting their guys to the track, making sure that there's practice time and availability for anything that these drivers need week in and week out. As the number 90 of Bobby Blazer running right now in 6th position, just ahead of that number 23 driven by Bradley Hall, who it appears right now is down about 2 laps. Of course, Bradley hoping that he can stay up there, especially as he knows that we're looking at that competition caution in about 12 laps, as we are on lap number 69 of 163, marching toward lap number 80 to conclude stage number 2 of this race. And we talked earlier about setups and the fact that this is an open setup league. And what that means, folks, is if you're the kind of person who, you work 40 hours a week, you have a wife and kids, and you're just busy and you don't have time to get your car dialed in, you can easily go out there to a number of different setup shops, including PremierRacingSetups.com, Majors Garage, Ryco. The list is endless for the setup shops. And, of course, these guys do pay a premium for those setups, but it definitely makes the car a little bit easier to get in and drive week in and week out. And it sounds like we might have had a near code brown there with John Bewalder passing Tim Trowbridge. We're going to take a look at that real quick, as we haven't seen either of these guys in a while, as it looks like Bewalder being trailed by Mike Wright keeps himself here, so I don't really see where he passed Tim Trowbridge unless Tim was down in the pit. And of course Mike Wright getting ready to put him another lap down here at Atlanta on lap number 72 of 163. And folks, we're going to take you side by side. This is the first night that we've been able to have this technology here in the race. And so far, it's been pretty nice to be able to keep an eye on the race, but at the same time, give our sponsors a shout out here. And right now, we are going to hear from Northeastern Fire and Air. In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have, breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today and know that you can breathe easy with Northeastern Fire and Air. And folks, we welcome you back. We do want to thank Northeastern Fire and Air, RS Button Boxes, and of course Buttkicker. And RS Button Boxes and Buttkicker have both really stepped up as far as getting these drivers some rewards for their hard work. And speaking of hard work, it looks like Devin Medeiros is trying to hold off Carlos Ramos, and he's got a rear view mirror full of Carlos Ramos right now. And when I talk about RS Button Boxes and Buttkicker, the champion of this series will get himself a Buttkicker and the choice of an eye flag from RS Button Boxes or $100. Second and third place will get each a Buttkicker. And fourth place, this is where it kind of gets confusing, folks, but fourth place will get whatever the champion didn't choose. So either the eye flag from RS Button Boxes or $100. Then the top non-playoff driver will get whatever the champion and fourth place didn't choose. So if the fourth place driver chooses to take the $100, then of course the top non-playoff driver would take home an eye flag from RS Button Boxes. And the offerings from both Buttkicker and RS Button Boxes are incredible, and I encourage you to take a look at their pages, as they are very useful, especially if you're deep into iRacing, and even if you're not. It definitely enhances the immersion here in the simulator. And folks, I stress this, and I can't stress it enough, that iRacing.com is not just a game, but it is a simulator. This is the same software that real-life NASCAR drivers are using for training every day. As you know, the force feedback and the way that these tracks are scanned in with lasers really helps these drivers in real life to get to know where they're going to be the following week or the following weeks, depending on where they need practice. So this is not a toy. This is absolutely a simulation, as we see Dan Heichel working alongside Chris Claude, who is now 3 laps down, and it sounds like there is a kerfuffle here on the front stretch. We'll take a look at that once we hit the stage break, as the caution flag has not flown this evening for that wreck. And we will take a look here, as it appears that Zach Vaughn may have had himself a little bit of an issue. And we see Zach Vaughn here in the number 91 in the middle of your screen. Just gets it a little bit crazy and is taken out by the number 94. And that number 94, of course, driven by Lewis Fetterman, who also comes off. So we'll quick take a look back here and see how Fetterman wound up taking out Zach Vaughn and sending him down for a ride through the grass. We see Fetterman rub the wall and just ricochet down into the 91 of Zach Vaughn. So it's unfortunate, but unfortunately, that's racing, as we are on lap number 81. So we will see the close of stage number 2 here any second now. As long as all things are equal, Jeff Carson will pass that start-finish line. And here it is, the caution flag ending stage number 2. as your Stage 2 winner is Mike Wright, followed by Dan Heichel. Barrett Coffey in third. Bobby Blazer picks up some bonus points in the number 90 Ford. Alex Princeton in fifth. Carlos Ramos in sixth. Devin Medeiros in seventh. Bob Nestor in eighth. Aaron Mack in ninth. And Jeff Carson in 10th. So that'll round out your bonus points earners here in stage number 2, and that sets us up for quite a long run getting ready for stage number 3. So we should start to see everybody form up behind the pace car here and behind Mike Wright, who leads this piece on lap number 82, as we are now just about halfway through the race. In fact, we are just over halfway through as we've completed lap number 82. So we should see everybody get ready to make this dive down pit road, led, of course, by Mike Wright. And it looks like everybody's coming down for the parade. Taking a look here at Dan Heichel, who we can almost assure that everybody should have been coming in for 4 tires and some Sunoco race fuel, as the lucky dog will be making his way around. And we also see, of course, Bob Nestor coming in for his pit service in the number 29 Relative Properties Toyota Supra. So it looks like Heichel got himself 4 tires and a tank of fuel. Nestor's going to finish his fuel fill, and he will tear off a pit road. And that should set things up to a really interesting scenario here as we go into turn 3. The 17 car of Jarrett Small spinning the tires a little bit on the way out of his box, but nothing serious, nothing that we really need to worry about. And we see Jarrett Small in that purple and white and black number 17. Folks, if you're just joining us, you are watching Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series racing action on the Independence Racing Network on YouTube.com, brought to you by Northeastern Fire and Air, Buttkicker, and RS Button Boxes. And as we get ourselves reset for the third and final stage of this race, we have had a pretty incredible race so far this evening. Here as we tick off lap number 84, we see the number 52 of Zach Osborne looking to get himself back a lap, as that should put him just 1 down at that point. And your race leader, Mike Wright, in the number 38 Ford, getting himself all settled in here, as we should be 1 to go this time by on this stage caution. And if you are just joining us on YouTube, feel free to subscribe, turn on those bell notifications, and get a heads up every time that we're live here on iRacing.com. Of course, the iRacing service is an incredible, to me, it's an incredible piece of technology. Gentlemen and ladies from all over the globe can be racing side by side, even when they're separated by time zones and miles. Sometimes continents, as I know that we've had some people from Australia race, side by side with somebody from Texas. It's always interesting to see just how small the world can be when we can all get along and come together around something that's just exciting to watch, which of course is racing. And tonight we're focused on Atlanta Motor Speedway. As the pace car lights are off, Mike Wright, with control of the field, chooses the outside lane, followed by Dan Heichel, Carlos Ramos, Barrett Coffey, and Devin Medeiros. Coffey and Medeiros have each moved up 16 and 14 positions, so a combined 30 positions between the two of them. Definitely something to keep an eye on. And Bryson Alexander running in 10th right now, also up 16 positions as Mike Wright looks at the guy in the stand, and he's waving the green flag wildly, and we are back underway at Atlanta Motor Speedway here in Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series Racing on iRacing.com. And we're keeping an eye right now on the number 52 of Zach Osborne. And now Bobby Blazer in the number 90 Ford, who has worked his way up back into 6th position, who had fallen back a little bit, but not too far from where he is, as he is down only 1 position from where he started in 5th. And as we were just mentioning a moment ago, Bryson Alexander running in 11th right now is up 15 positions. So we've had some really big movers here tonight. As it looks like, speaking of big movers, Tim Trowbridge has decided to put it on the hauler here at Atlanta Motor Speedway several laps early, as he went down at lap number 42 and has not come back onto the racing surface. And right now, as they run on lap number 88, you have Mike Wright leading this piece, followed by Dan Heichel, Barrett Coffey, Carlos Ramos, Devin Medeiros, Bobby Blazer, Alex Prince, and Bob Nestor, Aaron Mack, and Jarrett Small, your top 10. And right now, Jarrett Small down 8 positions from where he originally had qualified. As it appears, we have ourselves the fastest lap of the race right now being laid down by Barrett Coffey in the number 4 Ford Mustang out of Prim Springs, Tennessee. Barrett, of course, your Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series commissioner, chasing down right now Dan Heichel. And it appears that he is going to get around Heichel, maybe going into turn 1 and 2. We're going to keep a close eye on this, as these two drivers are going to be exchanging blows left and right. And Barrett able to secure that position away from Heichel. Gets himself now into 2nd position with only Mike Wright in his crosshairs right now on lap number 90. As we've turned 90 laps tonight out of 163. Things are definitely heating up here in Hotlanta and leaving us, without a doubt, excited to see what's going to happen here, as it appears Mike Wright has opened himself a 1.2 second lead over Coffey. We're going to see things tighten up quite substantially here going into the final stage, which of course ends at lap number 163. And destination is Victory Lane here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And folks, right now we are going to step aside and let you turn it up here on the Independence Racing Network. And folks, if you're just joining us, I'm Dave Regal here with the Independence Racing Network, and we are bringing you Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series action here at lap number 96 of 163. And your race leader currently is Mike Wright, who has had his lead chopped just about in half, as he has about a 0.6 of a second lead over Barrett Coffey in the number 4 Ford Mustang. And we're starting to see Barrett get ready to make his move as he is setting himself up, maybe not necessarily in tire-saving position right now, as he's doing his very best to cut this lead down, which is now down to just 0.5 of a second. And as we look back through your top 10, looks like Mike Wright is followed by Barrett Coffey, Dan Heichel, Devin Medeiros in the number 20 Toyota Supra, Alex Princeton, Bob Nestor, Aaron Mack, Bryson Alexander, Jarrett Small, and Bobby Blazer round out your top 10. And, of course, you can always be checking out where your favorite driver is if they're not in the top 10 at the top of your screen in our Northeastern Fire and Air scoring ticker. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to the Independence Racing Network, turn on those bell notifications, and find out every time we're going to be live here on Monday Night Xfinity Series Racing. And if you like hanging out with me tonight, you'll really like hanging out tomorrow, watching a race at 10:15 Eastern. The Western States Racing League goes live on ESPN. I'll be working alongside my good buddy Tony Trapasso, and the two of us will also be working side by side for the Way She Goes Racing League, which is a Cup Series brand new to iRacing this year. And we are thrilled to be able to work next to one another and bring that to you every week, as we're now watching Barrett Coffey having closed into 0.2 of a second. So it seems like every couple of laps he's gaining a full second on Mike Wright. And we see Barrett Coffey looking to the inside of Mike Wright here on the front stretch, looking to set himself up and take that momentum line away from Wright, as Coffey gets himself down low here and manages to take the lead away from Mike Wright. The Prim Springs, Tennessee native is your new race leader here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Barrett Coffey is, and he is turning himself one heck of a lap, as he has actually laid down so far the fastest lap of this piece at 31.6 seconds. So things are definitely heated up here all the way, as we are just about 61 laps away. It'll be 60 laps from the checkered flag next time by. And Barrett working his tail off around Mike Wright. And we'll take a look a little bit further back to where Bobby Blazer is in front of Jarrett Small and Dakota Cave in the 17 and 30 cars, as it looks like Dakota Cave is trying to look right on the outside of Jarrett Small, gets himself a good run, but then stays up there, and Small able to roll the center of that corner out of turn 4 across the start-finish line and maintain that speed. But I think we're about to see Dakota Cave looking to the inside, probably on the next time by, to get himself around Jarrett Small, as he is going to muscle his way right up to that rear quarter panel on the left side and set himself for turn number 2. And I think that's where we're going to see this move take place, as Dakota Cave looking to get into the top 10 tonight, as he is down 5 positions from where he started, now running in 11th. Gets himself set up, and he can't pull the same move as Coffey did, which, at this stage in the race is something that you might want to hold off from, just because you don't want to cook those tires. And Coffey may have been running a little less than full throttle to get and then turned it up just in time to get around Mike Wright. And we take a look here at the number 98 of Bryson Alexander, closely following Aaron Mack, and now he's set up to the inside of Aaron Mack, but gets himself, real close to the wall here, as he is now going to have to gather himself together, regroup, and make another advance on the number 31, driven by Aaron Mack. And Mack running himself a heck of a race, up 10 positions from where he started, followed by Bryson Alexander, who is now up 18 positions. However, 18 and 10 may be impressive, but Barrett Coffey has done one better as far as moving up in the field than Bryson Alexander, as Barrett has moved up 19 positions this evening and is now your race leader. And we take a look here at Jeff Cronin running all alone back here. He's probably in the safest position you could be right now, as Alex Princeton running in 19th, getting ready to chase down Devin Medeiros. And Devin, of course, led a very good portion of last week's race at Phoenix, doing his best now to hold off that rear view mirror full of Alex Princeton just behind him. So we are going to watch these two battle here for several more laps, as we have now completed 108 of 163 laps at Atlanta Motor Speedway, as we see Princeton, who has been battling connection issues with the iRacing.com server, flashes out one more time. And this race has gotten itself all kinds of wound up, as now it looks like Bob Nestor on the inside of the number 31, driven by Aaron Mack, as he is going the best he can to take that 6th and 7th position away from Bobby Blazer now. Bobby Blazer running in 7th with Bob Nestor right behind him. Nestor laying back, probably saving tires, especially with just over 50 laps to go here in this piece at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And I see Kevin Kitzman. I don't know if I want to throw that broadcaster's curse on, but Kevin Kitzman from Denver, Colorado, he is the commissioner of the Way She Goes Racing League. We had talked about them earlier. They are a brand new league to the ESPN family of broadcasting. And Tony Trapasso and I working alongside one another at 9 o'clock tomorrow, Wednesday night on ESPN to call that league. Kevin Kitzman observing that there hasn't been one single caution that wasn't a stage break here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So as scary as it is to mention it, God forbid I just put the curse here on this race. You can send your hate mail to Independence Racing Network in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania, care of Dave Regal, your faithful and caring broadcaster here at the microphone, running the 1s and 2s. And we're taking a look now back at our battle for the lead, as Mike Wright has decided that he wants the lead back, and he is going to hang on to Barrett Coffey, trailing him by 0.2 of a second here at Atlanta in these Xfinity Series cars. And you're watching Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series racing. This is part of the Sunday Night NASCAR family of racing, and these guys are together 3 nights a week in many cases, running Cup Series on Sunday night over on ESPN at 9 p.m. Of course, tonight we have Xfinity Series racing. Tomorrow night, Tuesday night, Thunder Trucks, led, of course, by Commissioner Barrett Coffey, now current leader of this race. And they are also a broadcasted league, and all 3 of these series are open setup series. These guys take a lot of time to put these setups together, get themselves settled in and ready to race every, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday every week. It's basically the regular NASCAR schedule from February through November. And they are not going to be put to bed early, as they have worked hard on these Xfinity Series setups here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Peach State, the Empire State of the South, Georgia, of course. And we talk about battles having happened in Georgia during the American Civil War. And these folks have taken it no differently tonight here on this 1.5-mile speedway just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. They are lining themselves up and making attempts left and right here as we take a look at Aaron Mack in the 31, avoiding a little bit of trouble with Alex Princeton, who's been having connection issues all evening long. And now we see Aaron Mack working the inside with a lap car down on the white line, staying out of the way, which of course is very respectful here in the iRacing community, as far as not being in someone else's line. And of course that can be its own list of problems, whether or not you're in someone's line. Did you want it? Did they want it? So it's nice to see these fellas out here being as respectful as they are. And we take a look at Jeff Carson in the 03 Napa Auto Parts Toyota Supra. And he has gotten himself just down 2 positions from where he started. I know he was fighting that car earlier during practice. So nice to see that he's at least staying competitive, but he gets himself a little wild coming out of turn 2 onto the backstretch. As we take a look at Bobby Blazer running in 5th position, Alex Princeton in 6th, being chased down by Aaron Mack. And Aaron Mack, that's got to be nerve-wracking there to be on the inside of Alex Princeton, who's having those connection issues. And we see him desperately trying to get around Princeton, because once you can put someone that's got connection issues behind you, you can focus a little bit more about what's in front. But right now, he has his hands full as far as being able to work around Princeton. So, folks, we are going to step to the side and hear from our sponsors on the Independence Racing Network, brought to you by RS Button Boxes, Buttkicker, and, of course, Northeastern Fire and Air. In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have: breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today, and know that you can breathe easy with Northeastern Fire and Air.
With the Buttkicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Buttkicker, the future is feeling.
.121 laps so far completed at Atlanta Motor Speedway. As Kevin Kitzman of the Way She Goes Racing League noted, we are caution-free tonight, which is exciting, especially because it keeps things all nice and spread out, and eventually we're going to see some green flag pit stops here as we are just over 60 laps to the checkered flag. Your race leader, of course, Barrett Coffey from Prim Springs, Tennessee. He's got that number 4 Ford Mustang wound all the way up here, leading Mike Wright by about 0.4, nearly a half a second now, as they go down the backstretch one more time at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And Mike Wright, as I just mentioned, running in 2nd position in the number 38 Ford, has Dan Heichel in the number 7 Viagra Ford right behind him, and that Viagra Ford always trying to keep it up and stay in line, as he is going to come in for that green flag pit stop that I had just mentioned, as he's going to be dropping down now in the leaderboard, as we have Devin Medeiros running in 4th position, followed by Aaron Mack in 5th. Alex Princeton in the number 19 Onyx Toyota Supra with Bryson Alexander, the number 98 Wawa machine, following him. Carlos Ramos in his number 97 Chevrolet is followed by Jeff Carson, who has Bob Nestor nipping at his heels in the number 29 Relative Properties Toyota Supra. So things starting to level out, but at the same time heat up, as we are going to be starting these green flag pit stops, as Princeton now coming down pit road. And we can see here Princeton getting ready to come in for service, getting himself all the way down to that number 4 pit box. And we'll just zoom in here and we'll watch him take his pit service, as he is going to get 4 tires and a tank of Go Fast. Of course, that Go Fast is Sunoco race fuel, as he's got his 4 tires, flashes with yet another connection issue, and he takes off down pit road and gets himself back onto the racing surface. Now we have Mike Wright and Devin Medeiros each coming in for pit service. And Mike Wright getting those 4 tires himself. And now your race leader, Barrett Coffey, coming down pit road. Let's see if he can cycle himself back up to the lead here in the next couple of laps, as green flag pit stops are underway at Atlanta Motor Speedway on lap number 126 of 163. Your new race leader is Bobby Blazer, who last came in on lap number 82. So he's only got a little bit more than 40 laps on these tires, and it sounds like he is going to be bringing it down pit road, which will leave Aaron Mack, your race leader, who also came in on lap number 82. So these drivers starting to cycle themselves on the green flag pit stops, as Aaron Mack in the number 31 Toyota Supra takes himself the lead, and he's not going to give that up easily, especially as tempting as it is to stay through that whole fuel run. Sounds like Bryson Alexander in his number 98 Wawa Toyota is going to be coming down pit road. And, of course, Aaron Mack as well, which leaves Bob Nestor and Jeff Carson from Joe Gibbs Racing. That team, of course, headed up by the number 10 car of Chris Claude, your Sunday night NASCAR Cup Series commissioner. Currently looks like he is 4 laps down. He'll also be coming down pit road, as they will come together as a team, it seems, here in the next several laps, as Nestor and Carson going to be chasing each other down the backstretch, and they haven't given any indication yet as to when they'll be coming in. Of course, Tony Burt came in on lap number 83, and he's currently being passed by Mike Wright and Barrett Coffey, who split him right down the middle. Things have definitely gotten a little dicey out here, as the number 17 of Jarrett Small and Mike Wright get themselves into position to chase down Jeff Carson and Bob Nestor. And, of course, these two drivers right now, Jeff Carson has about a 1.2 second lead over Nestor, and it's 16 seconds, which is just about half a lap, back to Mike Wright. So Nestor probably going to stay out as long as he possibly can tonight, especially with that kind of gap between himself and Mike Wright. However, Mike Wright is coming like a freight train, as he and Jarrett Small in the number 17 Chevrolet are going to be working together alongside Barrett Coffey in the number 4 Ford Mustang to get themselves back up front. But right now, Nestor, not much to worry about, as he still has a 13-second gap to himself and former race leader and soon-to-be race leader again, Mike Wright. Of course, Nestor being followed into the tri-oval by the number 31 of Aaron Mack, who's getting his lap back the old-fashioned way after taking that 4-tire pit stop. And we see these cars nice and spread out. Nestor giving the number 98 of Bryson Alexander enough room to get himself his lap back in that 98 Wawa machine. of course, built by Toyota Racing Development. And these cars tonight have been absolutely dialed in as we have completed 132, about to be 133 laps of 163 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. You're watching the Independence Racing Network, bringing you iRacing.com action of Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series, which is part of the Sunday Night NASCAR family of racing. There is Cup Series racing on a Sunday night, Xfinity Series racing on Tuesdays, and Thunder Trucks will be on Tuesdays. So, and it looks like Carson gets himself down onto the grass. We'll take a look quick and see what happened there. As it appears, Jeff Carson had just been trying to get himself perhaps woed down enough to make it to pit road, and of course speeds through. And this track is slick, and it looks like he is going to muscle his way onto pit road as now your race leader and Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series Commissioner Bob Nestor bringing it down pit road here at Atlanta. And that will cycle things back around to Mike Wright being your race leader here in the number 38 Ford on lap number 134 here at Atlanta. And folks, this is the Independence Racing Network. We are brought to you by Northeastern Fire and Air, and Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series brought to you by Buttkicker and RS Button Boxes. We are proud to be able to bring you this race tonight as we are watching one heck of a battle between Barrett Coffey and Mike Wright as they just had to fight through all kinds of lap traffic after their green flag pit stops. That was the money stop, as they should be able to go the distance now to the end, as Dan Heichel following Barrett Coffey now by about 7 seconds, with Bobby Blazer 2 seconds behind him. And Blazer, of course, trying to hold off Nestor, who is currently in the lucky dog position, but trying to get that lap back the old-fashioned way. And it's going to be tough for him, and he, of course, has Tony Burt not far behind him, as Tony Burt working the inside of Nestor, thinking about taking it 3 wide, but thinks better of it as Tony Burt gets himself right on that white line. There's a guy who's playing the most dangerous game tonight here at Atlanta in the Peach State, the Empire State of the South, Georgia. And we see Tony Burt chasing down Nestor and kind of holding up the 90 car of Bobby Blazer as Nestor works his way by. We take a look up here to Mike Wright and Barrett Coffey, where Mike Wright only has himself just about a 1 second lead over Coffey, who leads Dan Heichel in the number 7 Viagra Ford. Bobby Blazer running in 4th, Alex Princeton in 5th, Jarrett Small in 6th, Dakota Cave in 7th, Aaron Mack in 8th, Carlos Ramos in 9th, and Bryson Alexander in 10th. And there are only 12 cars left on the lead lap, so let's take a peek at them. Bob Nestor and Ian Humphreys, your last cars on the lead lap. Actually, I do stand corrected. There are 10 cars on the lead lap, rounded out by Bryson Alexander. And it sounds like our good friend Lauren Jones has come down pit road for service. And Ken Ron still sitting there on pit road, as he has been most of the evening. And we do have a car sideways on the track, and that brings out our first caution with 25 laps to go. That was Zach Osborne there sideways. So let's take a look and see just what happened to poor old Zach. And we see Zach crossing the start-finish line, and on those cold tires that he had, just gets himself loose and sideways up into the wall, gets himself down to the apron, still fishtailing, and that's probably a pretty bad blow, especially at this stage in the race with just so few laps to go. That should, of course, get Bob Nestor settled up to be your lucky dog here. And folks, if you are watching on YouTube, this is the Independence Racing Network. I'm Dave Regal here at the microphone, running the ones and twos and everything in between here for the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series League on iRacing.com. We are brought to you proudly by Northeastern Fire and Air, Buttkicker, and RS Button Boxes. And while everybody comes down pit road to now top off on that fuel, maybe take another set of tires if they still have one in their pocket, we will go side by side and hear from Northeastern Fire and Air and Buttkicker.
With the Buttkicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Buttkicker, the future is feeling.
In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have: breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today, and know that you can breathe easy with Northeastern Fire and Air. And folks, if you're just joining us, this is our first caution of the night, caused by a car actually getting himself a little out of control there, as we are now under caution with 22 laps to go. Everybody having come down for pit service, including your race leader, Mike Wright. Bob Nestor, your lucky dog, the only car out of the lead lap cars now not having come down pit road, as we are going to see everybody get themselves reset. And while they get themselves reset, we're going to take a look here at your top 10, led by Mike Wright, followed by Dan Heichel, Bobby Blazer, Alex Princeton in fourth, Dakota Cave in fifth, Jarrett Small out of Fisherville running in sixth position right now, Aaron Mack from Fort Riley, Kansas running in seventh position, Carlos Ramos in eighth, Bryson Alexander from New York in the number 98 Wawa Toyota Supra, followed by Barrett Coffey, the pride of Prim Springs, Tennessee, in his number 4 Ford Mustang. And rounding out the lead lap cars is the number 29 Relative Properties Toyota Supra, driven by Bob Nestor. So 11 cars on your lead lap right now, as we take one more look here at Mike Wright. And that field going to get itself all kinds of reset, as there's going to be a couple of guys working to get their laps back on the wave around. Mike Wright, your race leader, taking the high line, which he has done all evening long. Sitting behind that iRacing.com pace car, going down the backstretch, getting everybody settled back in here. And the iRacing.com pace car coming through turn 3, he will be setting himself up to dive down pit road, as we will be 20 to go when we go back green flag racing. A lot of drivers going to have to keep an eye on those cold tires, as they just came down and got that extra set. As the man in the stand has the green flag in his hand, he waves it wildly, and we are green flag racing once again at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And Dan Heichel gets loose coming out of turn 2, gets down onto the apron. That will avoid the caution coming out here with 20 laps to go. And we'll take a look here at Dan Heichel in just a moment. And we see Dan Heichel here in the middle of your screen. Just gets loose coming out of turn number 2 and down onto the apron. And like I said, that does avoid the caution coming out. With now 19 laps to go, that opens things up for Mike Wright, who now has a 0.4 second lead over Bobby Blazer running behind him in second. Alex Princeton running in this top 3 most of the evening in the number 19 Onyx Toyota Supra, followed by Jarrett Small, Carlos Ramos, Dakota Cave, Aaron Matt, Bryson Alexander, Barrett Coffey, and Bob Nestor, as it looks like Alexander going to be taking a look here on the inside of the number 32 car, driven by Ian Humphreys. Humphreys is 1 lap down, so he shouldn't be that much of a problem for Alexander to get past, as now it looks like Jarrett Small up in the wall, as we are still under green. No caution thrown yet, as iRacing.com's automatic cautions seem to have taken themselves just a little bit of an easy breather rather than being so stiff. And things starting to tighten up here as Carlos Ramos and Dakota Cave looking to step into the battle ring, as Cave is looking to the inside of Carlos Ramos, and Ramos not willing to be put to bed early tonight, as now the 31 of Aaron Mack looking to the inside of Dakota Cave gets the spot from him for now, and Cave probably going to have a pretty good run coming back onto the front stretch, as those tires should be nice and warm now. And yes, it looks like Cave is going to get the run and win that battle, but Aaron Mack seems to be winning overall atop of Dakota Cave. And we take a look here at Alex Princeton chasing down Mike Wright and Bobby Blazer. Bobby Blazer now backing off about a half a second now from Mike Wright, as Blazer, your winner last week at Phoenix, looking to make it back-to-back here, is doing the very best that he can to keep it up front. And we take a look, speaking of last week at Phoenix, we do want to take a look here at the season standings, as James Ray does sit atop the standings chart in first position, followed by Bobby Blazer, Dylan Ackert, Mike Wright, your current race leader, Alex Princeton, who's currently running in third right now in the race, is running in fifth in the season standings, followed by John Bewalder, Josh Ward, Tony Burt, Chris Watkins, and Bradley Gunn. Of course, Bradley Gunn being in 19th position, sitting on pit road for quite a while now. That's definitely going to cost him in the championship standings. And folks, if you've been hanging out with us this evening on YouTube, you're watching the Independence Racing Network. I'm Dave Regal, and I want to invite you to please subscribe, turn on those bell notifications, and get a heads up every time we are live on a Monday night, as we have 12 laps to go now here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And Mike Wright with a fairly commanding lead over Bobby Blazer, but Blazer not willing to cede that position just yet, as he is now under 0.4 of a second behind Mike Wright, as he is now closed in by about 0.1 of a second over the last 3 laps. So things are going to be tightening up there. And while that's going on, we take a look back at Aaron Mack, who is still doing battle alongside Dakota Cave and just behind Bryson Alexander. Barrett Coffey now following the number 32 of Ian Humphreys, and Bob Nestor in the number 29 Relative Properties Toyota Supra, bringing up the rear of the top 10, as he is the last car on the lead lap. But as far as the lead lap's concerned, the most important cars right now are Mike Wright and Bobby Blazer in the number 38 and 90 Fords, as those two Fords sit atop your leaderboard, brought to you by Northeastern Fire and Air. And Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series Racing, of course, is also brought to you by Buttkicker and RS Button Boxes. And we've talked about them a couple of times this evening, and I can't stress enough how thankful I know that these drivers are for everything that RS Button Boxes and Buttkicker have offered to them. And if you are into iRacing, I strongly recommend the Buttkicker. I am a user myself, and it absolutely changes the way that that car feels. You can feel your wheels slipping. You can feel your RPMs shaking your seat as you're driving on the track. And it just changes the dynamic and the immersion that you're going to experience in iRacing. And speaking of immersion, those RS Button Box iFlags that are also offered to a couple of lucky winners here, they're worth every penny. They can really bring you into the situation and immerse yourself deeply into the iRacing experience. And in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, the champion of the year will win himself a Buttkicker and a choice of an iFlag or $100. Second and third place in your season standings will also win Buttkickers, and fourth place will win whatever the champion didn't choose. I know this gets a little hairy, but that will be either the iFlag or $100. And then your top non-playoff driver, which we don't even have to bother looking at right now, he will win whatever fourth place and the champion didn't choose. So there's a lot at stake here in this league, as those are some pretty exciting prizes, especially if you're into iRacing, as obviously every one of the 29 drivers that took to the track tonight are. And Bobby Blazer chasing down Mike Wright with about 4/10 of a second between himself and the race leader. Bobby's running out of time right now, as we are now ticking off the 6 laps to go here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Right now, we're taking a look at the number 30 car of Dakota Cave, following Aaron Mack in the number 31, as they are still exchanging blows here in 5th and 6th position. 5th place being Aaron Mack in the number 31 Toyota Supra. He has moved up 12 spots this evening. So he had actually started 17th position, and he is followed by Dakota Cave, who is exactly where he started in 6th position, followed by Barrett Coffey, the pride of Prim Springs, Tennessee, who's gained 13 positions. But your big mover this evening, 2 of them actually, one's on the lead lap and one isn't. Bryson Alexander from New York, in that number 98 Wawa Toyota Supra, up 17 positions from where he started this piece. And Ian Humphreys back here in the number 32 Toyota, up 18 positions, but a lap down. So unfortunately for Ian, it looks like time is running out, as we are now at 4 laps to go, with Mike Wright, your race leader, with just a 3/10 of a second lead over Bobby Blazer, your race winner from last week, as Mike Wright takes it into turns 1 and 2 yet again, riding that high line, making sure that he's not burning those tires off, trying to keep himself from slip sliding around this here racetrack. And Bobby Blazer, 3/10 of a second behind him, is going to start looking to make his move, as now he is about to be 2/10 of a second behind Mike Wright. Here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and NASCAR Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series Racing is brought to you by Northeastern Fire and Air, Buttkicker, and RS Button Boxes here on the Independence Racing Network. I'm Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. And if you've stuck with us so far, you won't want to turn away from your screen now, as we are 2 laps to go, with Mike Wright leading Bobby Blazer by just about 1/4 of a second, now 2/10 of a second, as Bobby Blazer looking to close in on Mike Wright, as Mike Wright is going to come past the flag stand one more time, get himself that white flag as it's waving wildly in the air. Mike Wright leading Bobby Blazer, who is doing his best to close in on him, but he may not have enough time, as now it looks like Blazer is trying to peek to the inside. But remember, that's going to loosen your car up, as he is now a quarter second behind Mike Wright in the number 38 Ford. One more time through turn 3. We go into turn 4, and that should transition them back into the tri-oval at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And folks, your Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series race winner this evening is Mike Wright in the number 38 Ford, followed by Bobby Blazer, Carlos Ramos, Aaron Mack, Dakota Cave, Barrett Coffey, Jarrett Small, Bryson Alexander, Alex Princeton, and Bob Nestor. And due to scoring, it looks like Bob Nestor will actually finish in 9th, and Alex Princeton will finish in 10th. And we see Princeton down here in the grass. It looks like he may have gotten himself loose coming out of turn 4. We can see that car just breaking out, and he had nothing else he could really do as Barrett Coffey gets around him. So Mike Wright, your race winner. We will get these folks into the Discord channel in just 1 second here. Carlos Ramos, this is Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. Do you have a copy? Hey, Carlos, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy? And it looks like I can't hear Carlos, so we are going to move over to Bobby Blazer real quick. Bobby Blazer, it's Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. Do you have a copy? Hey, Mike, it's Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy? Hey, Mike. Well, this is strange. Bear with me, folks.
Bro, you're good.
Hey,
dude.
guys, listen, this is Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. Not sure why nobody can talk up in the booth, so I want to start with Carlos Ramos. Carlos, this is Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Oh, yeah, loud and clear.
Hey, man, listen, the pride of Columbia, South Carolina, state capital fella. You ran yourself a strong race tonight up there.
Yeah, I was doing all right, staying hovering around the top 10, around 12, and then I got all the way up there and I spun out, as I'm sure you guys saw. It was all strategy from there. Thanks to Bobby for helping me out with the strategy a little bit, and really that's what got me back up there, tire saving, and then trying to hunt down Aaron on those last couple laps. My palms are sweaty.
Oh, I'll bet those palms are sweaty. I mean, geez, you only had a couple of sets of tires to work with tonight. It wasn't like last night in Cup Series where we had 6 sets of tires to work with. So how were you on tire saving tonight?
I think each time we stopped, I was about 64, 65% on the right front and about 65 on the right rear. So it was pretty good. I was running really slow lap times. let people burn up their tires, and I just come back on them near the end of the runs.
Well, really slow lap times are still consistent. As long as you can run that consistent, everybody's going to be falling about the same way that you are. So, not the end of the world for by any stretch. So, you ran a heck of a race. Is there anybody that you'd like to give a shout out to tonight?
Oh man, here we go. So first off, thanks to my wife for letting me indulge in the hobby. Shout out to Sports, me and my teammate Bobby and my teammate Ian, and you guys know James, Ray, Chris Watkins, and John Timms. We're all together. So huge shout out to those guys. I would not be anywhere near as good as I am without them. Another shout out to Solus Racing Group down in Florida. They're a primary warehouse shipper for Mopar parts. Also Von Paris Van Lines, they're a big shipping company in the Mid-Atlantic region. And ARC Creations, that's my sister's company. She makes t-shirts, mugs, all that good stuff. So.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on the podium finish. We'll get you up there to race chat. And great race tonight. Columbia, South Carolina is proud of you tonight.
Thank you.
That was our third place finisher, Carlos Ramos. And now we move on to our winner from last week, but our bridesmaid tonight, Bobby Blazer. Bobby, it's Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, you put York, PA on the map tonight with that number 90 Ford. How do you feel?
Man, I feel great. I'm very happy with how the race played out. With only one non-stage caution, that's kind of crazy, especially with how these cars handle after about 10 or 15 laps. So I'm really happy that we got some good long runs in. And I was excited to see how the race played out at the end there, if there was no caution. But, I got to give all the credit in the world to my man Mike. That I don't know how not only we pulled away from the field, but that dude kept it out of the wall. I hit the wall like 2 or 3 times. Like, he's a beast, man. I'm just envious of his position right now and his skill base, because I need some of that.
Oh, absolutely. And here at Atlanta, especially, this should be the last time that Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series runs on the old surface. Sometimes it seems like Atlanta almost does the same thing as Darlington does. You get that Darlington stripe, and tonight you get the Atlanta stripe. So, you fought a good fight, and you were closing in on Mike here toward the end as you went from about a half a second difference to about a quarter. But, just not enough laps. And geez, what a clean race too, with, so few cautions. Really only stage breaks.
Yeah, man, I hope that as much as as much as we all pay for iRacing, I definitely appreciate them adding the tracks as they become available and scanning them and all that work. But to be honest with you, man, I'd pay $15 just to run this track. I would run it every week, but every season, it's a track where, Phoenix, you can get lucky at Phoenix. Daytona, I'd rather be lucky than good. Auto Club, you need some skill. But as you mentioned, Darlington, Atlanta, Richmond is another one, Iowa. These are the tracks that I look at as like, man, like, if you can win, and have 0x and have a relatively clean car, like, you might as well just be a Road to Pro top split candidate, So my virtual hat is off to my brother Mike. That dude ran a boss race. I'm not sure what happened to bring out that caution, but I guess it must have been Barrett, I guess, because I was basing him off of where I was in terms of speed, because I went in 5 seconds behind him and I came out like 9 seconds or so after everything kind of got settled out. So that was kind of disappointing to see whatever happened maybe to him. But man, I still, like, as hard as I was running, I don't know that. I don't know how much harder I could have ran. I know I couldn't have run much harder. I literally hit the wall twice. So hats off to Mike and everybody else. Like I said, it was a really, really clean race, and this is a really hard track to even have a clean race at all. So
absolutely. And actually, that lone caution was brought up by Dan Heikel in the number 7 Viagra Ford. He was trying to keep it up, but those cold tires just kind of bit him right in the can. So tough night for him. But for yourself here in second position, do you have anybody you'd like to shout out to?
Yeah, man. I'd like to shout out esports, my team. Um, Carlos giving me all love. I mean, I didn't really him that much. I mean, like I said, this is Atlanta. I mean, advice can only get you so far. You still need to know how to use the gas pedal and the brake pedal and a wheel. But shout out to esports, my team, Adrenaline Bike Designs, B Blaze Vintage, the best place to get vintage streetwear anywhere. Shout out to y'all for putting on this league. As I said last week, I very much appreciate y'all coming out every Monday night, every Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and running full length races. That's absolutely insane. So I very much appreciate that. Um, and I like I said, I can't say enough about this league. I genuinely think you guys are fair and reasonable, and to have great finishes in races like this, like I think it makes it worth it. So I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely, man. Well, listen, I share your sentiments about the league. I think that the Sunday Night NASCAR family of races is a fantastic place to be, and it's quite a community here on iRacing. So we're definitely glad to have you here and make things interesting. And as we close tonight, I'm going to move you up there to race chat, and that should definitely bring in our race winner, Mike Wright, in that number 38 Ford from Greensboro, North Carolina. My goodness, what a run tonight.
It got my arms tired. It was good. I was looking forward to it. I like this track just like Bobby was talking about. And so I set it up for the long run, hoping we'd have minimal cautions. And it almost got me at the end there with a little bit shorter run, but we were able to pull it off.
Minimal cautions is definitely the understatement of the series right now, as we went 163 laps with just one caution. I mean, listen, you were fighting Tim Trowbridge earlier on in the race, as Tim had, quite a lead there at the beginning, but then you managed to get around him and just maintain the lead. You weren't willing to give it up at all. That's impressive, man.
Yeah, I feel like I tend to do pretty well on worn out tire long runs, and I feel like I can gauge my pace a little bit, and so I was hoping that I could let him out there and then catch back up, and that's how it played out. And then Barrett came there at the end, and I was kind of letting him do the same thing, and we jumped ahead of him on the pit stop, and it'd have been interesting to see how it went without that caution there, but I knew we were going to have a fight at the end with the short run, and so I tried to make some adjustments with the track temp rising up a little bit, and we were able to make it happen.
Yeah, man, listen, I mean, you've got yourself another win here in the Xfinity series, and I mean, I say another win, but actually should be your first win of the series. So that's definitely
Right.
going to help your stock here, as you started tonight in fourth in the standings, but that should definitely move you up there into third or darn near close, as Dylan Acker didn't take the start tonight, and neither did James Ray. So you're definitely going to be gaining some spots there in the season standings. And I mean, I've been telling the fans all night on YouTube about, the prizes and things that you guys are working towards. So, it may be virtual racing, but they're very real prizes. And, you put on a heck of a show tonight. You worked your butt off.
Yeah. I've run real well to start here, and was actually the points leader without a win, and so it's great to get the win to carry us through. Hopefully, we'll get some more. We got some good poles. We got 3 straight poles here, so we're qualifying well, getting up front, trying to just manage the race a little bit. So hopefully, we can keep that going and rest up the old arms for some turns left and right at Coda here.
Yeah, I'm sure with Coda, ahead, I assume, if you're working with a direct drive wheel or anything like that, things are going to get pretty hairy. You're going to have to start doing some bicep curls over the next few days.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to do a heavy arm day the day before. That's
No,
for sure.
absolutely not. Do you have anybody that you'd like to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, so I had my man Larry just kind of spotting me. So he's usually with me as we're doing any racing. And then in the truck series, we got a lot of participation with Ferda as my team. Usually with the Xfinity, we're not all running, so Last couple times it's been me independently on the Xfinity, but I love the Xfinity cars. I love driving them, and it's just a nice, fun thing to do, and it's nice to have success at it too.
Absolutely, man. Well, listen, congratulations. I'm sure that Greensboro is proud of you tonight, as you definitely bring home that trophy here in Victory Lane. So we're going to cut you loose, get up there to Race Check, because I'm sure Race Review is getting underway. And we appreciate you. We appreciate the show that you put on for everybody. And thank you very much, brother.
Thank you, Dave. Have a good one.
Well, folks, that'll just about do it for us tonight here on the Independence Racing Network. As you've seen some incredible racing. I mean, it's almost unheard of to see, so many laps led, or not led, but so many laps laid down with so few cautions. Things really definitely broke out easily tonight, and we're going to go through these final race results here, as your race winner that you just heard about from Mike Wright out of Greensboro, North Carolina, in the number 38 Ford, finishes the race atop the leaderboard in P1, followed by Bobby Blazer in second position, driving the number 90 Ford. Third place, Carlos Ramos in the number 97 Chevrolet. Fourth was Aaron Mack. Fifth, Dakota Cave. Barrett Coffey finishes the night in sixth position, up 14 from where he started. Jarrett Small in seventh. Bryson Alexander, tied for your biggest mover of the night, up 18 positions, finishes eighth place. Bob Nestor in the number 29 Relative Properties Toyota Supra finishes in ninth position tonight. Alex Princeton in 10th. Ian Humphreys also moving up 18 positions, finishes 11th. Jeff Carson, Tony Burt, Jeff Cronin, and Chris Claude, your Sunday night NASCAR commissioner for the Cup Series, finishes that all out in 15th place. Then Zach Osborne in 16th, Zach Vaughn, John Bewalder, Mark Brewster, and Dan Heichel in 20th position. Then Brad Gunn in 21st in his number 36 Chevrolet. Lauren Jones, Devin Medeiros in the number 20 Fox Toyota Supra finishes in 23rd. Chris Gore, Lewis Fetterman, Bradley Hall, Josh Ward, Ken Ron, and Tim Trowbridge round out the field here tonight, all 29 drivers who started the race. So a really good field tonight, maybe not completely full and certainly not as full as we've seen over the last several weeks, but we're looking forward to racing at the Circuit of the Americas, of course, COTA for short, and things are guaranteed to change pretty substantially there, especially as you consider the fact that we are going road racing next week on Monday Night NASCAR. And road racing, of course, a completely different animal, especially in these, high torque Xfinity cars. So things definitely looking to change up a little bit as we head deeper into the season now, as we're about to go road racing. So folks, tune in next Monday night at 9 o'clock as we will get ready to bring you all the action from Austin, Texas. You're watching the Independence Racing Network, brought to you by Northeastern Fire and Air, Buttkicker, and RS Button Boxes. I'm Dave Regal, here at the microphone, bringing you all of the action. We brought it to you from the green flag and now past the checkered flag. We're thankful to have you, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Turn on those bell notifications. And as you go through your days, make sure that you take 1 second to take a breath and enjoy the day. Thank you and good night.